Hello, welcome to the Sunshine State Book Festival. Thank you for stopping by my booth. My name is Lauren Gilbert. I live in Florida, as I have done for many years now, and I always wanted to be a writer. I grew up in a household of readers, and in fact, I cannot remember a time when I couldn't read. It was very important that we had books around. In fact, one could say my first work was a book I did for my dolls, which of course has not been published. I have written 2 novels. The original first novel I did was Harewood, which was published in 2011. I've contributed essays to the English Historical Fiction Authors blog and have posts that were included in 2 volumes of compilations, and my most recent novel, A Rational Attachment, was just released in December. I'm particularly fascinated with the Regency era in England. This is a period of history that is very similar in my mind to our own. It was a time of great contrast. There was an extremely wealthy upper crust, our version of the 1%, and there was a very large population of people who were poor. There was a time of upheaval in the job market. People were moving from the country to the cities and from the provincial cities to London in search of work because they had lost their jobs due to new technologies in weaving, spinning, and knitting, and in changes to agricultural techniques. Just as today we have people losing work to automation and outsourcing. The entertainment even is very similar. Today we watch reality TV shows to see how the upper crust disports themselves and what the new and fabulous things are available to those who can afford them. Back in the Regency era, people would line the streets to watch the wealthy going into a ball or the theater to see what jewels and clothing was being displayed. It was a time of the desire for reform and a conservative thrust. There was a need and desire for change and a great fear of change, just as we have today. Today, my novel, A Rational Attachment by Lauren Gilbert, is available in print and in ebooks, and it is set in the Regency era in England. It is a story of 2 friends who share certain things but come from different backgrounds. My heroine, Anne Emmons, is the daughter of a wealthy banker, and even with the family wealth, there is still the taint of trade, which affects her in the course of her life. Her friend Fanny is from a wealthy, entitled family who has her own challenges. As they mature into women, they discover what they want and how they can get what they need within the confines of females in their society. I'd like to read an excerpt from chapter 18. My heroine, Anne, is speaking. I was so surprised. I never dreamt of such a thing, Diana. I felt foolish. Then he told me of his business dealings with my father. Anne rose and paced across the terrace. You are aware my father has always had ambitions for my marriage. Charles Deschavaux is the perfect candidate. Impeccable birth, an old established estate, received everywhere. I have been acquainted with him for years, esteemed him as a friend of Fanny's family. Only recently did I begin to contemplate other possibilities. He has been a guest in our home, and I never saw a sign of a business connection between him and my father. Now I find he has been a client of my father's for some years. She swung around to face Diana. He has assured me that the debt is repaid, that he never discussed me with my father. But how can I believe that? She resumed her seat next to Diana and gazed at her toes. I fear that he has a sense of obligation to my father, and that he may see marriage to me as a way to please my father." Diana said nothing for several moments. "How do you feel about him, Anne? As a person, I mean." Anne said, "I have a great regard for him. We converse, Diana. Over the years, seeing him so often in company with Fanny and her family, I have been at ease with him. Only in the last several months, in York and at Lord Fitzmaynard's home, have I thought that there might be something more." He kissed my hand. Anne blushed fierily, and her voice trailed off. "Is it not possible that he has the same feelings for you? Why are you convinced his emotions could only be gratitude to your father? You are an intelligent young lady, well educated and knowledgeable in the things you need to know to run a home. You are by no means an antidote. Is it so impossible to believe that he has developed feelings for you?" Anne looked up laughing. "Thank you for the compliment, Diana. By no means an antidote, indeed." Anne sobered quickly. "When you put it that way, it does seem more possible. Fanny has always told me that I think too much, but over the years I have been reminded on more than one occasion of our family's connections with trade, and that my father's fortune is a significant factor in my welcome in certain circles." Diana said dryly, "We have never really discussed this matter. Yet I can tell you that a lack of fortune renders many women superfluous regardless of birth." Diana's eyes glowed. "When Robert asked Mr. Farley for permission to court me, I was amazed. Your brother is such a good man, Anne. Your father has raised his children to be kind and look below the surface in their dealings with others. Robert is intelligent and interesting, unfailingly courteous. He is as great a gentleman as any of my acquaintance. Mr. Farley did not question Robert's worthiness to court a member of the Farley family. Your father's fortune was certainly a factor in the matter. This is the way of our world. Are you willing to miss an opportunity for happiness because of excessive sensibility?" Chapter 18, Irrational Attachment. I want to thank you for coming by today. I hope you have the opportunity to stop and talk to the other authors who are here on this site. There's a lot of great books out there. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your time at the festival.